Hello magazine lovers. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is about Gülüm Baktaş and Yagmar. Before we move into the video, please subscribe to my channel. When Gülüm Baktaş finally confirmed what many had suspected for weeks, the impact rippled across the entertainment world like a tidal wave. Barış Baktaş was not only preparing to become a father, he was building an entirely new life, and in that new life, there was no longer space for Yagmar. The narrative that had been carefully constructed around Barış and Yagmar had seemed almost sacred to their fans. They were the golden couple, stylish, charismatic, a picture of effortless love. Their public appearances were the stuff of dreams, strolls under city lights, hand-in-hand moments at film festivals, passionate glances exchanged across crowded rooms. For a while, it seemed inevitable that wedding bells would follow. But behind the glossy magazine covers and smiling interviews, the story was far more complicated. Sources close to the situation reveal that cracks had been forming between Barış and Yagmar for months, though both had done their best to plaster over them for the sake of public appearances. Barış, wrestling with private doubts and an overwhelming sense of impending change, had begun pulling away emotionally. Yagmar, sensing the shift but unsure of its cause, tried to hold tighter, believing that love could weather whatever invisible storm was brewing. The real storm, however, came in the form of Gülüm Baktaş's stunning revelation. It was during an intimate gathering, far from the prying eyes of the media, that she allegedly shared the news with a small circle. Barış was going to be a father, and everything in his life was about to change. Friends who attended the gathering recall the atmosphere vividly, a strange mix of celebration and unease. The news hit Yagmar like a physical blow. Sources say she had no warning, no private conversation to prepare her, no hint that Barış had already mentally moved on to a new phase of life that didn't include her. One moment she was imagining their shared future, the next, she realized she had been erased from it without ceremony or explanation. Witnesses described the immediate aftermath as nothing short of devastating. Yagmar reportedly confronted Barış in a raw, emotional meeting. According to insiders, she asked him, through tears and mounting disbelief, how he could so easily discard everything they had built together. Barış, torn but resolute, is said to have answered simply, "I'm going to be a father now. I have to put this new life first. There's no space for anything else." Those words, now infamous among their inner circle, marked the true end of Barış and Yagmar. Not with a final kiss or a heartfelt goodbye, but with the cold, unavoidable truth that life had shifted under their feet, leaving no room for dreams that once seemed so certain. Publicly, Barış maintained a stoic front. He refused to comment on the situation, declining interview requests and shying away from appearances that might invite questions. But the whispers grew louder. Social media exploded with speculation, fans choosing sides, some sympathizing with his new responsibility, others condemning him for what they saw as an unforgivable betrayal. Meanwhile, Yagmar disappeared from the public eye almost entirely. She cancelled upcoming projects, fled the city, and retreated into a cocoon of family and close friends. Those who managed to reach her spoke of a woman grappling with not only heartbreak but humiliation. She hadn't just lost her relationship, she had lost it in the most public, crushing way possible. Gülüm Baktaş, for her part, remained dignified but firm in her support for her brother. In private conversations that later leaked, she allegedly expressed sadness over how things ended but insisted that Barış was making the right choice. "Family comes first," she was quoted as saying. "Once you know you're bringing a life into the world, everything else has to adjust." That sentiment resonated with some, but for many, it was a bitter pill to swallow. The fairy tale romance had ended, not with a scandalous affair or dramatic betrayal in the traditional sense, but with the brutal reality that life sometimes forces impossible choices. In the weeks that followed, Barış was seen attending prenatal appointments, setting up a new home, and throwing himself into preparations for fatherhood. He seemed determined to prove that he would be a devoted father, even if that meant sacrificing the love he once shared with Yagmar. Paparazzi captured him shopping for baby furniture, hosting low-key family dinners, and once, in a rare unguarded moment, staring pensively out the window of a cafe, a look of profound exhaustion etched across his face. As for Yagmar, her healing process was slow and painful. Friends describe her as vacillating between anger, sorrow, and occasional moments of reluctant acceptance. She reportedly journaled obsessively, filling notebook after notebook with memories, grievances, and the unanswered questions that haunted her. Why hadn't he fought for her? Why hadn't he told her the truth sooner? Was everything they shared a lie, or had it simply been swept away by forces beyond their control? Months later, when Yagmar finally resurfaced at a charity event, she was transformed. She had cut her hair short, a symbolic shedding of the past, some speculated, and carried herself with a quiet, steely grace. When asked by reporters about her recent challenges, she smiled thinly and said, "Sometimes, the universe has bigger plans for you than the ones you made for yourself." That enigmatic statement sparked another wave of sympathy and admiration for Yagmar. She became, almost overnight, an emblem of resilience in the face of public heartbreak. Brands rushed to sign her for campaigns focused on empowerment, and her fanbase grew even more loyal, drawn to her authenticity and raw strength. Meanwhile, Barış continued to prepare for the arrival of his child. Those close to him say he has grown more introspective, more serious. Fatherhood, it seems, has forced him to confront parts of himself that fame had allowed him to ignore. Some sources even suggest that he quietly reached out to Yagmar months later, not to rekindle romance, but to offer a heartfelt apology, one that, while appreciated, could not erase the past. The saga of Barış Baktaş, Yagmar Yüksel, and Gülüm Baktaş is not a simple story of right and wrong. It is a tangled web of choices, consequences, and the inevitable messiness of real life. It reminds us that sometimes, even the most beautiful love stories cannot survive the earthquakes that reshape our priorities overnight. It teaches us that losing someone we love does not mean we have lost ourselves, and that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is accept the end of a chapter we thought would last forever. Today, Yagmar Yüksel walks forward into a future she never planned for, stronger, wiser, and more herself than ever before. And Barış Baktaş stands at the threshold of fatherhood, carrying both the promise of new beginnings and the heavy, unspoken sorrow of what he had to leave behind. If there are any celebrities you would like to know about and follow current developments, please indicate in the comments. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you in the next videos. Goodbye.
We need your support to grow our channel and to bring you news faster. 90% of viewers leave without subscribing. Please support the Turkish Magazine family by subscribing and liking the video.